Boom guys, you really know what it is, you know LT aka Tanked Gamer. Now today we're playing some Sparking Zero and I just want to go over the significance about your actual rank in the game and why I think it's important to actually grind to your skill level. And the reason being is because how matchmaking tends to work, and even though you say like you set like no limit and things like that, it's automatically going to gravitate you to players that are around your rank level. So say for example right now, as you saw with this video, I was at rank D5, which is the basic of the game, but as you can see I'm sparring with a rank Z player and I'm able to hold my own. If anything, I actually win the match. It kind of proves me to know that I'm capable of obviously run with the Z fighters. Now what comes down to it right now is because I'm D5, when I go to a player match, it tends to just throw me in lobbies with D5 players, people that may have not wanted to rank themselves or may just be not confident enough to actually rumble with it because they're not skilled or in that sort of department. And this is why I feel it's kind of important to grind out through rank. Even though we have all the cheeses and all these sort of things right now, it becomes detrimental to play players at a rank lower than what you actually are, because you aren't going to be able to get better at the game, and if anything you're going to actually pick up sloppy habits. Because for example, players that can't counter for certain maneuvers you're doing, you end up probably getting used to these maneuvers, and then when you're going against a player that are better than you, you realize, okay, crap, you can get out of these things, or maybe these things or these habits I built up on these lower tier players aren't going to be as strong as for what I've been using it for. So I would recommend going into rank, getting your actual rank level up to what your standard actually is, which I am currently doing right now. As you can see, this is an older video, but I just wanted to kind of cover a bit of light on the subject just to kind of show you guys like what the difference in comparison would be, and that way when you go into like a random matchmaking, when it comes down to like player matches and stuff like that, you are rounded up with players who round your skill level, and that way you can tend to improve because you learn a few new techs when you're going around players around your caliber, rather than just playing against like people at a lower standard towards you. You aren't going to be able to grow if you're playing players that are weaker than you. So best bet I would suggest for you guys, just go into rank mode, battle it out, even though if you're not a fan of it as much, but that way you're going to be able to improve in the game and you're going to be able to see a different light of the game as well. But anyways, I'm done with my rambling. I just want to carry on with the video, so let's get it. Bow. Let's see how it runs on Earth. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you guys why you may be stuck on your rank at this point in time. So right now I'm fighting someone who's at D5. Now I'm not too sure of the experience in the game, but just going by what his mistakes are, I'm going to be picking up and kind of telling you guys obviously not to make these same mistakes, because it's going to punish you as well. Alright, so far it's all good. That was a raw super, so he didn't really expect me to vanish that. It was just unfortunate on his side. Alright, cool. So at this point here, he probably was, he charges up. Oh no, he just waits there. So he should be trying to opt to get the super counters. Obviously, that was a good vanish from him, using the teleport. He lands a knockout. He cuts the animation, but he unfortunately comes out short. So far he's actually playing pretty decent. Actually, I went for the super counter because I had less ki than him, and I wanted to make sure I can balance out the ki a bit more. So as you can see, we're near towards the same point. He's gone for a ki charge once again. Now you can see my opponent trying to use Vanishing Assault, and hence the reason why his ki's depleting. But this gives me an indicator that he's not good at super counters at all, hence the reason why he's just opting to use that instead. So the problem is his key management at this point in time. He didn't use it to his best ability. When we were both even at that state, he should have focused more on just making sure his key was up, or even switched out his character. Now the only reason why I switched out here is because my opponent gets locked onto me while I am not locked on, but once I switch my character out, it automatically locks onto the opponent straight away. So I threw out a raw super thinking he wouldn't do too much, and again with Herco I only use him just by time, and plus because his key regenerates pretty quickly, it wasn't anything I was too worried about. As you'll see right here, I'm planning to switch out straight away. I don't really want to use Hercule. It was literally just to kind of get the time for me to switch out to the actual character I wanted to use, but I didn't want to waste any time, so I just brought out the first character in mind. Now as you'll see what I was telling you about, he uses Vanishing Assault quite a lot as well, so easy way to counter that is just to teleport as soon as he gets to you. Now as you can see, I've pretty much got that on point. Except for that one obviously, but as you can see he just wastes a lot of his ki, and then he resorts to kind of ki charging as well. So what that does is it just puts him at a disadvantage for the whole time in the match. Now you can see I don't know what he was trying to do there. I wasn't too sure if he was even playing but he should have opted to switching out his characters out as soon as he knew they was getting crushed. But again, he just spams a Vanishing Assault all the time, so you can block and dodge it. This really gives me the advantage in terms of how much ki I can reserve. and again he just charges right out in the open. So you don't want to be making these mistakes, especially when you know the player is playing more aggressive than you. You can't be charging up in his face. That's just a sign of insult. So again, with advantage and assaults, I would only throw it out really if you're trying to avoid your opponent, like how he did at the start when he was trying to get away from me. If he couldn't do the super counters, he then used it pretty well there. But spamming it over here and here, it just doesn't bring any benefit towards him. He's always going to lose these vanish wars as well with me. And another thing of a mistake he made as well is his recovery. As soon as he gets hits down to the ground, he doesn't recover. He just kind of pretty much stands there. He lets the game play itself for him.
Merlin.
Now I believe the next person I versed was a bit more better. As you can see, he teleports, he does side steps as well, so you can see there. So it throws off my super counters a little bit. I was fortunate enough to counter him here with perception. I then pressured him into the wall. His only option here would have been a super counter, but I've teleported around him. So he's been able to punish that pretty well. He charged out a good space, but he should have cut it short, especially when he had a lot more ki than me at the time. Again, I knew he was going to come up with a melee attack, so I came with a perception.
Nice one.
The down part about this part is once he used instant transmission there, he should have flew out of my sight. The problem is I know my opponent was going to attack me, so all I need to do was just step away. But he didn't gain any benefit from doing that. He just really lost a skill point. Now the common mistake he was making in this match, he kept charging ki, and I don't understand why. He had a lot more ki than me, and you get ki from attacking your opponent. So I don't understand why he was so bloodthirsty to get that amount of ki, because all he was doing was put himself at a disadvantage. Easy to get perception on just basic attacks. He should come press with like a hard hit or so. I tried throwing his timing off a little bit there, but he did grab me, so it was good on him. I was expecting he may go for a super count also. Alright, so I dodged those.
I'm making him regret that himself.
What he should do at this point right now is try to dark or perception me, since he gets a reset, but he does go for a block, which is pretty well as well. The biggest mistake there is he should have switched out his character rather than transforming, which I don't know if that was a mistake or not.
Kill himself.
So whilst he brought out Piccolo now, I don't like giving my opponent any time to get a breather or think about what they're doing next, especially when they didn't want to actually get the character in at this point in time. So now that I'm fighting Piccolo, I am testing him. Now he's going to knock me away from it. I will take it. Instead of actually going into a vanish wall again, I do try to get a super count, but I fail at that point in time. So then pressure him, trying to get his time out. And I haven't seen him do much super counters as of yet, so I do change my flow of how I fight him, how do I approach. I tried going for a super counter myself and failed. So I do decide to just apply the pressure a bit more on him. I do know he goes for the perceptions as well, so I can't always just rely on going straight ahead. I had to sidestep a lot, get behind him, so he can't pull up the perceptions on me. And again, like I said, I don't see him doing a lot of super counters at all, so I don't feel threatened too much in terms of how I play against him. Perception, told you, and knocks him out. And this is what I'm saying, is when he does get the advantage on me, he doesn't take the chance to switch out his characters. Getting behind him, trying to avoid his perception as much as possible. Gone with a good vanish. See, now that he's a bit more ki than me, I don't give him too long to charge a ki at all, but I just do it to kind of get myself up in there. Now he's got the ki advantage. He's actually at a plus, so hence the reason why I'm doing the more super counters.
Nice one.
He doesn't follow up with that, which is the biggest mistake actually for him, because while you know that you have the ki advantage, you should really choose to pressure your opponent at that space of time. Now knowing that he doesn't do super counters a lot, I don't feel threatened to actually really attack him as much. With perception is good at some point of time, but I know he doesn't follow up behind it as well, so I still decide to go on more of the aggression. I know he's doing his vanishes, his vanishing assaults and such things like that, so I count all of them. Gut punch because I know he's going to run into it. Heavy punch. I know he's pinned up on the wall. He goes for perception once again. Super perception, which costs him stock. I bear in mind know that he's got more ki than me, so I do reset that as well with the super counters. And now we're both at the same point of ki. He does use wild tints on me, knocks me down. So he is playing pretty decent right now at this point in time. But I feel the issue is once he does get his perception, he doesn't decide to punish me. But he did actually catch me on my revenge counter, which I didn't really want him to use another wild sense, but at the end of the day, the match is pretty much won for me at this point in time here, so I'm actually just playing around with him. And I was just kind of I was flexing him at this point in time. And I really wanted to get the kill on this point in time there, but a win's a win, right?
Oh, that was his last character. Shame.
Let's get it.
To a foolish man, death is but a blessing.
I wish he rumbled with me like that still.
Ways on the train, make games like a century, good for the pain. Cells that react, maybe go on stronger. System go lit like a TNT wick spot. If they relaunch that me, then on God, they need to retreat, they be beating this dunya. Visa, none of bully in a freezer, heal up and cut like a wound cut Caesar. I'm send like a ruler. Once in a blue moon, go ape like a Vegeta. Don't you get